Lumaris once told me, if you want to understand yourself, don't start with people. People are loud. In their thoughts, in their emotions, in their reactions. He said,
Look at what doesn't need to prove anything. So I began to watch animals. Not to learn their strength, but to learn control.
I learned the most by watching the panther. It was not moving all the time, not tense all the time, not ready to attack all the time. It was ready only when it had to be. The rest of the time, it was calm. It didn't react to every sound. It didn't jump at every movement. It didn't waste energy on the noise of the world. It listened to the signal, not to the static. And I understood this. Calm does not mean nothing is happening. Calm means not everything moves you. The human world teaches the opposite. React immediately. Defend automatically. Explain yourself instantly. Answer before you think. And then we wonder why we are exhausted. The panther is not exhausted by the world because it does not carry the whole world on itself. It chooses. That is the first lesson. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not every thought is true. Not every emotion is in order. Not every situation needs an answer. A person who reacts to everything is controlled. A person who can stop begins to choose. And this is the second lesson. The panther does not live in the past. It does not analyze yesterday. It does not write stories about tomorrow. It is where its paws are, where its breath is, where the moment is. That is real presence, not a slogan, a state. We live somewhere else. In what already happened. In what might happen. In fear. In imagination. And then we say, we cannot hear ourselves. How could you, if you are never here? The panther does not look for answers in its head. It listens with the body, with tension, with the rhythm of the ground, with the air. Humans have this too, but it is buried, under hurry, under noise, under constant, I must. That is why solitude can teach, not as escape, but as a test. Is what you do really yours, or only a reaction to the world? This is the third lesson. Calm is the space between stimulus and movement. The moment, where you can choose. Do you act from impulse, or from direction? The panther does not attack, because something moved. It attacks when the moment makes sense. Not earlier, not later. Humans do the opposite. They act to avoid feeling. They speak to avoid listening. They react to avoid thinking. And then they say, the world is tiring. No. What is tiring is the lack of control. Calm is not weakness. Calm is management of strength. It does not mean you feel nothing. It means not everything has to come out. It does not mean you do nothing. It means you do not do everything. This is the maturity of a warrior. Not in aggression, not in constant readiness to fight, but in the ability to wait, observe, separate signal from noise. That is why I learned from animals, not their power, their rhythm. They do not fight reality. They move inside it. They do not try to drown the world in noise. They find their place in it. And there is an old image, older than our systems and our fears. It speaks of birds that do not sow and do not store in barns. And yet they live, not because they are naive, but because they are in rhythm. They do not try to control tomorrow. They do what belongs to today. This is not a lesson of passivity. It is a lesson of trust, that not every movement must be a fight, that not every decision must be forced, that not everything is taken by pressure. Sometimes it is enough to walk your path with attention, like the panther, like the birds, like a warrior who stopped reacting to everything, because the greatest advantage is not speed. It is choosing the moment. And this is the calm of a warrior. not as escape from the world, but as a way to stay in it without breaking. This is a warrior's lesson.
Rexfire Music Motivation, the legend.